Welcome everyone to today's practice. Super excited to have you here on this journey with me. Bringing hands to heart center, setting our intention for the day. I can't believe we're already at day 39 in our year of yoga journey. And what an incredible journey it's been so far. Taking a big breath in, hands above head as we forward fold over our crossed legs. Pulling the body forward to get a deeper stretch as our forearms make connection with the earth. You can rest your forehead on your arms if that's comfortable. Whatever feels best for you today. And slowly coming up onto your hands. And take a big deep breath in and then leaning over to one side. Left hand planting down on the mat. Right arm comes up and overhead to get this side bend, this side stretch. Breathing in over to the other side. Taking a big round of breath here. And then back to center. Cross our legs the other way. And then big deep breath in, forward folding over our crossed legs again. Stretching the other side. Staying up on your forearms here or feel free to fold the arms and rest the forehead gently on the forearms. Today's practice is all about flexibility and unlocking any tension around the legs, the hips, the glutes and the lower back. That's the area of focus for today. Slowly placing our hands on the earth and sitting back up. Big deep breath in. Right hand on the mat, left hand comes overhead. Back to center, left hand on mat, right hand overhead. Just interlacing the fingers, pushing the hands away from the body out in front, and then raising them above our head, arms beside our ear, getting this beautiful stretch and elongation through the spine. Taking the right leg long, left knee bends over the right leg, hugging the knee towards the chest, sitting really tall. From our sit bones right up through to our crown. And just taking our gaze to the side. Both feet are connected with the ground. And we're doing about 5 rounds of breath on each side as we take our left leg long now. Right leg crosses over, hugging it into our chest. Should be feeling a beautiful stretch around the glute muscle. And then folding the left leg under the right. Big deep breath in as we forward fold over the top of our legs. Our heels are resting by our hips. You can stay up on your hands if that's a big enough stretch for you, or feel free to come down onto your forearms. Or rest your chin on the top of your knee. This is one of my favorite stretches for unlocking the hips. About 5 rounds of breath here. And then changing sides, sitting tall, crossing the left leg over the right this time. Big deep breath in before we forward fold, bringing our chest over the top of our legs, staying up on the fingertips or coming down onto the forearms. 5 rounds of breath. Dropping the head to the upper knee if that feels good for you. And coming back up, unraveling the legs. And we're going to pull the left heel in towards the pelvis. Right leg goes long. Big deep breath in, and then exhaling, taking our right hand down towards our right foot. Left arm comes up and overhead. Taking another big, juicy, deep breath in here. And exhaling, maybe trying to walk the fingers a little bit closer to the foot. Sitting tall again, and this time we're going to reach for the toes on the exhale. And then the left arm's going to slide down over the top of the right. Breathe in, breathe out. And on each exhalation, seeing if you can reach a little bit further down the foot each time as we drop our head between our arms. Slowly coming back up, unraveling the left foot as it goes long now. Right foot comes into the pelvis. On the exhalation, taking the left arm down the left leg. Right arm coming up and over the head. So we're stretching not only the leg here, but the side of the body. And then coming back up on the inhale, exhaling as we come down to reach the toes. And then bringing the right hand over the left and dropping the head between the upper arms. If you can get lower than this, by all means, take that head as close as you can towards your leg. Otherwise, if you're a little bit inflexible, just grab your leg as far as you can so that you feel this beautiful stretch down the back. Taking both legs wide out on a 45-degree angle, sitting tall, and then pulling yourself forward with your hands. If you can get down onto your forearms, feel free to do that, or maybe you want to grab each ankle. Just letting the head hang heavy here. Breathing deeply. Slowly sitting back up, giving the legs a little bit of a shake out. Coming onto our right knee now, left leg is going long, planting down through the right arm. And then opening up the chest towards the sky as we take that left arm out on an angle, getting this beautiful back bend in this kneeling position. Taking our gaze back past our hand. And then bringing the left leg parallel to the ground. And then using the left hand to grab the left foot. Going to pull that foot towards the back of the body. Testing our balance, but also giving a beautiful stretch down the thigh, the top of the leg. And engaging our core. Dropping down, we're going to change over to the other side. So coming up onto the left knee now, right leg going long, planting down through the left hand. Right arm is going straight up towards the sky, fingers are spread, And then leaning back, opening up that chest and that heart towards the sky. Dropping the head back, taking our gaze well past our hand. Feeling that beautiful energy cycling through, coming up through all the connection points of the earth and out the fingertips of the right hand. Bringing our right leg high now before grabbing that foot with our right hand. Getting a stretch in the thigh. Coming back to the mat. Just kneeling for a moment. Bottom sitting on the heels. Just letting our body rest for a moment. Hands coming down to mat now. We're coming into our tabletop position, getting set. Taking a big deep breath in as we drop our stomach towards the earth, and then exhaling as we roll through to cat, taking our gaze between our legs. Inhaling, taking our gaze high, dropping our head back. Exhaling, raising our spine towards the sky. One more time. Cow pose. Exhaling into cat pose. Taking the arms long now, taking our chest towards the body, straight arms, gently resting our head on the mat as we ooze ourselves into this puppy dog pose. Hips are high, legs are on a 95-degree angle. You should feel this through the upper body and the thoracic. Two more rounds of breath here. And then we're just going to interlace the hands and pull them back over the head. So now we're up on our elbows, getting this beautiful stretch through our triceps. Taking 2 rounds of breath here, nice and deep, filling that diaphragm, feeling it expand. And then taking the hands back to the mat, coming back into tabletop for a moment, tucking the toes and then pushing back into downward facing dog. Hips are high, legs are straight, pushing the heels towards the mat. Our head is hanging between our arms. And coming into high plank before bringing our left foot between our hands, raising our arms up above our head, sinking the pelvis towards the mat into this warrior one. Turning the back foot perpendicular with the mat into warrior two. Leaning into that front leg. And then reversing the palm, bringing the left arm up and overhead, running the right hand down the back of the right leg. Reverse warrior. And then resting the left elbow on our left leg, right arm coming up and over the head. Back to warrior two. And then bringing the hands back to the mat to frame the left foot. You can keep the back leg up or you can drop the knee to the mat, whatever's comfortable for you. And then kicking the left leg back to meet the right in downward facing dog. Just pedaling out the legs, finding some stillness, And then bringing the right foot in between the hands. So we take our arms high above our head into warrior one. Really engaging the core here. Turning the back foot, coming into warrior two. So the front foot is facing forward, the back foot is facing to the side. Flipping the front palm and bringing it up overhead as our left arm slides down our left leg. And then resting the right arm on the front right leg, bringing the left arm up and over the head. Back into warrior two. And then framing the front foot, kicking it back to meet the left in downward facing dog. Just taking a moment to check in here before we start adding a little bit more heat and pace to our sequence. So coming into high plank, I'm going to hold this for about 30 seconds. Really engaging the core and the upper body here, holding it strong. Remembering to breathe deeply. And then slowly lowering the body to the mat. Untucking the toes, coming up onto the forearms into Sphinx pose. Pulling the upper body towards the hands. You can take the gaze high if you want to. Otherwise, keep it out ahead. Relaxing the legs. And then coming up onto the hands, kicking back into downward facing dog. As I said, we're going to add a little bit of pace to that sequence now. So left foot between the hands, raising the hands up above head into warrior one, turning the body into warrior two, flipping the front palm, reverse warrior. And then left arm on left leg into side angle pose, back to warrior two. Hands to the mat, kicking the left foot back to meet the right, bringing the right foot between the hands, raising the arms up into a warrior one, turning the feet, warrior two, reversing the front palm to reverse warrior, side angle pose. So each movement is tied in with an inhalation or exhalation. Downward facing dog into high plank, holding for about 10 breaths. And then slowly lowering down into Sphinx pose again. Pulling the body forward to get some space between our vertebrae, especially in the lower back. And then pushing back up through the hands into downward facing dog. Running through the sequence again. Left hand between the hands, hands coming high. Coming into warrior two, reverse warrior, side angle pose, to warrior two. Framing the front foot, kicking it back into downward facing dog, changing legs, right legs between the hands, hands coming high above the head. Turning into warrior two, reverse warrior, side angle pose, back to warrior two, and then framing the foot into downward facing dog. High plank, holding for a round of 10 breaths. Engaging the core, shoulders, the arms. Should be feeling nice and warm now after our warrior sequence. Slowly lowering the body to the mat, coming into Sphinx pose. And then slowly pushing back into downward facing dog. Walking the feet between the hands, forward folding over the legs, dropping the head heavy. Hopefully you don't have more than one head. Halfway lift, forward folding, swan diving the arms up and over the head. Just going to turn onto the side of the mat now, taking our feet out on a 45-degree angle. Forward folding, bringing our hands to the mat. Taking the legs a little bit wider if you need to, so you can bring the hands down to touch. And then dropping the head heavy, maybe grasping the elbows. Or if you want to, you can reach down and grab the ankles. Keeping the legs straight in this pose. Bringing hands back to our hips and slowly rolling the body back up to standing position. Just going to lunge to one side now, 5 times. So coming down onto the right side, right knee bends, left leg stays straight. And then we'll change over to the other side. So left leg bends, right leg stays straight. I have an issue with talking today. Just remembering to keep your breath connected to each transitional movement. And then sinking down into goddess pose, hands at heart space. You can do cactus arms if you like, or raise your arms above your head if you prefer. Hands on hips. We're going to do a bent leg forward fold this time. Bringing our hands to the mat in front, or again holding the elbows. Hands to your ankles. And then hands back to hips as we slowly roll the upper body to a standing position. Coming into goddess pose again. Maybe interlacing the fingers behind the back. Opening the chest towards the sky. And maybe putting a little twist in here, taking the right arm to the left leg and changing over, left arm to the right leg. Bringing the feet closer together as we sit down into our yogic squat. As it starts to rain, maybe putting a smile on your face, Not taking our yoga practice too seriously is always a good thing. And then hands on the mat behind us as we sit down, and then lower the body onto the mat. I'm going to straighten the right leg and bring the left ankle onto the right knee. Just an alternate pigeon pose here. Flexing the foot, or you can have the knee bent, both feet flexed, pushing the left knee away from the body as you pull in the right leg towards the body. Changing sides, right ankle goes on left knee, left leg goes straight, flexing the foot, bringing that leg towards the head. Or we can bend that knee, taking our feet to the outside of the mat, taking the knees to one side, then over to the other side. Just doing this a couple of times, just at a slow pace. Maybe taking the right ankle, placing it on the left knee. And changing sides, left ankle on right knee. Hugging the knees in towards the chest. Maybe rocking forwards and backwards just to give our back and our spine a little bit of a massage. I don't know about you, but this always feels good for me. Maybe taking the knees wide, a bit more of a stretch through the hips. Starting to slow the body down now. Taking the legs long, coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Maybe grounding down the hands. You're going to be in this pose for about a minute. So if you want to press pause and stay in lion pose a little bit longer today, feel free. Start to bring some movement into the body. Rolling over to one side. And then when you're ready, sitting up in seated pose, closing down the eyes. Really coming from a place of gratitude right now, for having this time as we bring our hands to prayer position at our third eye. May we have kind and loving thoughts today. As we bring our hands to our mouth, may we speak kind and loving words today. As we lower them to our heart center, may we have kind and loving intentions today. Namaste.